And everybody else is going to see this, so can you just go ahead and say your name and position and into the microphone, please?
Aaron Crawford, defensive tackle.
All right.
How you doing?
Yeah, how's it going?
All right.
Well, how exciting is it knowing that when Max showed up, one of the things he said was, we're not going to toss the seniors aside. We're going to try to win now and have those guys go to a bowl game to conclude their careers. And now you're one step away. You got to go play your rival in their place Saturday night to achieve that. How cool is that?
It was cool. It was definitely important just for us. You know, we've been through a lot, and to hear that we weren't just going to be, cast by the wayside, and we were going to be a part of the rebuilding process, and we didn't really see it as rebuilding. We've seen it as a slight remodel and a relaunch, and it was cool for us to see because we've been in it every step of the way. So.
When he made that clear that he was going to make this season about you guys as much as the rest of the program, some new coaches don't do that. How much easier did it make it for you guys to buy into what he was selling?
The buy-in obviously was gradual for everybody. You have to build trust on both sides of it all, but it definitely came, I think, a lot swifter than it might have been if he did otherwise. I haven't really been a part of a head coaching change. I've had a few different D-line coaches, and we've all acclimated pretty well. But having this complete overhaul of people come in, it was interesting to see all the guys come in and buy in. As we continue to get comfortable with each other.
Have you thought about what a win in this situation might be like for you? What it might feel like?
I'm just kind of focused on playing right now. We're gonna take it one step at a time, one play at a time. But obviously, it's gonna be important. We haven't necessarily done very well at the end of the season for the last really 4 years. So for us to be able to turn that around, we started the season the right way. We might as well finish the right way as well. So.
Aaron, I can't have one without the other in this instance, but what's the more enticing morsel, I guess? Getting a chance to go bowling or beating your rival for the first time in 4 years and ending that streak?
Like I said, they both come with each other. I kind of feel like it's a similar situation in 2016. We kind of knew what we were about to do. We had a bowl locked in the set. I think we were right at 8 games. And they were battling to get one more to go to their bowl game, and they ended up getting one up on us. So, it's a little different, but in my eyes, it's the same thing. We were trying to ruin their bowl streak and put ourselves in a position to, get into a better bowl game that year, and really they're just playing to knock us out. So, it's going to be a physical game, probably as rowdy as it's been in the past. We just have to keep our composure and keep moving forward.
Aaron, being from Virginia, how much sense did you have of this rivalry when you got here?
Everybody, it's a triangle. These 3 schools are very close together. Obviously, Duke's a big game. Obviously, State's a big game. And, we dropped those 2 against App State and Wake earlier in the year. But, the sense is you take care of Duke and State and your fans stay happy. These are the people they go to work with every day. They see, these are the neighbors that they see going to get their mail. So, Duke and State are the biggest games of our schedule every year just because they're right there. We can't go anywhere without seeing each other.
And for all the seniors that's on this team, you got to talk amongst each other, that y'all lost 3 in a row to them. You're going over there this time. Is there a talk amongst your seniors that, hey, we want to get these guys before we get out of here?
I feel like it's more about us. We want to send ourselves out the right way. They just kind of happen to be the next opponent. Granted, it's a rivalry game. They do have a streak against us, but we're trying to put ourselves in a position to where we can finally send out the guys who've been here for a while the right way, which I don't think we've been able to do in the past.
How has focus or what you look for in a successful practice week, how has that been? What have you seen?
Really, it's just the attention to detail, small things where we don't move on until guys get it right. Guys miss a kick, we're going to sit there and we're going to keep doing it until, all the kicks land. Guys misstep, we're going to correct it and keep going until, it gets fixed. And so, I feel like that attention to detail is going to pay dividends when we get to the end of the week because, I mean, this is kind of it, you know, just win it in, and if you don't, then we'll be home for Christmas. So.
You mentioned keeping your composure. Aside from what happened at the end of the game last year, does this game every year just tend to be a little bit chippier than some of the other ones that you guys play? And is that sort of what you were alluding to? Because just the course of the game itself is just on a different level in that sense?
Yeah, it's definitely always been one of the more physical games I've played in just because, you know, I feel like guys are trying to give their best shot at the end of the year. You know, they know what's at stake for the most part, you know, for the guys, especially in my position, this could be our last time to showcase, you know, what we're able to do. So with that being said, I feel like, you know, people try to get in as much as they can. So.
Aaron, you were hurt last year? You didn't play last year, right?
No, I didn't.
Well, where did you were you on the sidelines for the game, or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was on the sideline.
Yeah, I mean, how was that to have to sit and watch as that game unfolded and it goes into overtime and not be able to kind of help your team?
I don't know, I kind of felt that way a lot last year, you know, but we're in a different position now. I'm able to contribute. I'm able to try to lead them in the right direction. So it's really just about going to get it right now.
Over the course of your career, have you ever had a season with this many ups and downs? And if not, what are some of the things you've learned about yourself personally?
The only other season where I've kind of, you know, ridden the emotional roller coaster per se was, I think, my first year and last year, you know, just dealing with injuries. First year I was doing pretty well for myself in training camp, putting myself in a position to, you know, obviously make the bus and get rotated a good bit, and then, you know, a little attrition hit, and I was out for the year. So then last year, well, I kind of talked about that enough. I'm trying to put that behind me, but you know, this year's been special because, you know, it's been a roller coaster, but you know, we've tried to stay as steady as possible. You know, when you lose a lot of close games, and we've won just as many, you know, it kind of takes a toll on you just because you have to fight to the very last whistle and very last snap. So all the guys are leaving everything they have on the line, and because, you know, you're so drained, the outcome of the game kind of determines your perception going into the next week. So, but the only thing that we have to do and the only thing we have to control of is our attitude towards the next opponent. So we can't really ride the high of coming off of Mercer. We have to stay focused. We have to stay level-headed going into state, because if it's an overly emotional game, then we might get taken advantage of. So.
Along those lines, are there any additional conversations that take place the week of in terms of controlling your emotions? Don't let a rival get under your skin. Don't be the one to respond, things of that nature.
Yeah, we played a few chippy teams this year, guys that like to do a little extra after the whistle, things like that. So we're kind of acclimated to, you know, anything that could be. We've seen just about everything. So at this point, it's guys knowing that, you know, something's probably going to come. Handle it. Don't let it affect you. Keep it moving.
They've struggled on offense, you know, this entire year. They've had a lot of guys hurt and everything. But how do you go into this game kind of, you know, maybe knowing that, but you don't want to overlook them either?
Yeah, they you know, they had a little bit of attrition on their side, on the offensive side, but I think their two backs that they have are some of the best that we will be able to see all year. They're quick, they're shifty, and they can definitely tote the ball. So with that being said, I mean, we have to go out and stop them. I think those are the biggest threats that they have.
What have you gotten to know about Jake Lawler and his time here?
Jake's a very interesting personality. You know, he's an intellectual person. You know, he's always throwing out big words that people have to look up and things like that. But you know, he's a good guy. He's a level head. He does a lot outside of football. As you can see, that put himself in a position to do whatever he wants when, you know, he thinks that he's done with the sport, and at this point in his life, he's made that decision, and we're happy for him moving forward. So.
You were on that 2015 team
Last one.
that went to Raleigh and beat State and Carter Finley. How much does that, like the memories from that, how much does that motivate you going into Saturday?
Well, so that game, I was the only Thanksgiving I got to spend at home since I've been in school. Because I broke my foot that year, I spent the whole week at home, but, you know, I got to watch it with actually one of my good friends who wrestled at state. So we sat there and we watched the game together, and we watched Queese take over and do what he did. But, you know, it was definitely special to see, and it's something we need to get back to.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Eric.